practice test number 8. We're in the calculator section. Alright, number 30. The complete graph of the function f and a table of values for the function g are shown above. So we got f, we got g. The max value of f is k. What is the value of g of k? So right here is where the max happens, and that's at 4. So that means right here is where it happens on g. So our answer is 7. Now we're in the griddable section, so you don't get to guess, you just have to make a number. Alright, 31. There are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen in 1 molecule of water. How many atoms of hydrogen are there in 51 molecules of water? So they're asking for hydrogen, there's 2, so we just multiply by 2. So this one's really easy, it's 102. Alright, for 32, they tell us x is 1 in the equation above. What's the value of a? So I need to actually take this 1 and put it in here where x is. So 1 minus 1/2 a is 0. I need to solve for a, so I'll subtract my 1. And now to get rid of my negative 1/2, I need to multiply both sides by 2. Negative 2, sorry. So this all disappears, and a is going to be positive 2. For number 33, in the xy plane, the equations x plus 2y equals 10 and 3x plus 6y equals c represent the same line for some constant c. What is the value of c? The first thing you need to notice here is that here we have x, here we have 3x, so this is 3 times that. You got 2y and 6y, so this is 3 times that. So that means my c is going to be 3 times that. So 3 times 10, it's going to give me 30. For 34, we'll actually need a calculator. Alright, on April 18th, 1775, Paul Revere set off on his midnight ride from Charlestown to Lexington. If he had ridden straight to Lexington without stopping, he would have traveled 11 miles in 26 minutes. In such a ride, what would the average speed of his horse have been to the nearest tenth of a mile per hour? So right here we have miles per minute. So we've got 11 miles in 26 minutes.
Miles per minute.
Now, the thing is, we don't actually want miles per minute because they're asking about miles per hour. There's 60 minutes in an hour. So after I divide this, I need to multiply it by 60. So that's going to give me 25.3846. And they said nearest tenth, so I'm going to have to round. So my answer is going to be 25.4. Alright, for number 35, the graph of the function f is defined by this, and that's shown up there. If the function g, which is not shown, is defined by g of x equals negative x plus 10, what is one possible value of a such that f of a equals g of a? So they want to know when they're equal. And if we look at this graph here, g of x, the y-intercept is at 10. So g of x, it's the y-axis here at 10. And since this is negative x, my slope is going to equal negative 1 over 1. So that means it's going down 1 over 1. So it's going to hit all of the corners on this graph. Right here, they're both equal. They touch.
1.5.
And it looks like they would touch again over here somewhere. Because this keeps going. And this keeps going. So somewhere over there they would touch also. Alright, For number 36, we've got a triangle. Point W is not shown, but it lies on the line RT. So W is somewhere on here. What is the value of cosine of angle RSW minus sine of angle WST? So WST, RSW. These two angles are complementary, which means they add up to 90 degrees. There's a trig thing that says cosine of an angle minus sine of if they're complementary, then this is going to equal 0. This is actually a pretty obscure trig identity. I actually had to look at the answer sheet because even though I teach pre-cal, this didn't come to mind very quick for me. Next one. Yeah, we'll have to read it and then go back. According to the table, how many more micrograms of penicillin micrograms of penicillin. They want to know how much more is in 10 milliliters 5 minutes after. Then 8 milliliters 10 minutes after. And let's go back up to our graph. Alright, so first we've got 5 minutes after. So 5 minutes after. And this is per milliliter. So if I had 10 milliliters, then this is going to be 10 times 152, because this is for each milliliter. And now, when I look at 8 milliliters 10 minutes after, that's here, and that's going to be 8 times 118. And they said how much more is here than here. So we're going to have to subtract after we find out what these numbers are. So this one is real easy. It's just, we just add a 0 at the end. And 8 times 118, 944. And now we're just going to subtract these. So I'm going to subtract 944 from the 1520. So we get 576 more. And back to our question, please. All right, so this will be 576. Now let's read the other one. Penicillin concentration in micrograms per milliliter in the patient's bloodstream T minutes after the penicillin injection is modeled by the function P defined by P of T equals 200 B raised to the T over 5. If P approximates the values in the table to within 10 micrograms per milliliter, what is the value of B rounded to the nearest 10? That's kind of ugly. All right, so let's write it down. And they said, then all right, let's go back to our table. All right, so this is T. So when T is 0, 0, 0, this turns into a 1. Anything raised to the 0 is 1. So we get 200. Now when this is 5, if we put a 5 in here, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So anything raised to the 1 is itself. So that means that b to the 5 over 5 is the same as just b. And that's going to be our secret. We need to use that to figure out what happened to get from 200 down to 152. So if I do 152 divided by 200, because right here we're multiplying 200 by something to get from 200 down to 152. So in order to figure out what I multiplied 200 with to get this, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide. So 152 divided by 200 gives me 0.76. Now what we need to do is make sure that this 0.76, if we multiply it with 152, gets us the next one. So this is 10. 10 over 5 is going to give me 2. So that means this one. Alright. So when I multiply this one by 0.76, actually, I did that. 152 times 0.76. So this gives me 115.52, and this one gives me the 89.68. And this said within 10 micrograms, so this is within 10, that's within 10. So that means B is going to be around 0.76. Is the end of the section. We made it. We're done. Join us for more fun and exciting videos next time.